All right. We're a few minutes past the hour. We're going to go ahead and get started. As always, we'll get rocking and rolling with some wins. I'll start. So I just came up from my living room signing closing documents, got my mom a new house. If you guys ever heard my story, I bought her a house a few years ago, and she wanted a new one, a condo. So we just did a mail away closing for that. So maybe I'll do an updated video with her at some point, but she's going into a detached condo, maintenance free, which will be nice because she won't be hitting me up every time she needs the snow removed or the grass cut. So I'm excited about that. All right. So who else has a win today?
After Earl's class last week, I actually called a commercial agent and I have a meeting with him on Monday.
Nice. How'd it go?
No, it comes up on Monday. Coming
up
Monday.
on Monday. Cool. Good for you. Good for you. That's awesome. Taking action. That's the purpose of these calls. Learn, implement. Good stuff. Anyone else? We'll take a couple more.
I had one. I was telling my daughter about this. AJ, I don't remember if you know my daughter Kelly, but anyway, she's a former mortgage broker, sold her business recently to a hedge fund. And I said, Kel, you're going to know businesses all over. I said, she's getting her license. I said, you need to take this class. I said, because you're going to know people, you're going to have lots of people. This will be another line of revenue. And so a friend of hers, she was saying this, they were complaining about their business. And she said, you should sell it like I sold mine, keep the land and sell the land later and have them as a tenant. And so they're considering it. So that's one for Earl, which is exciting. As soon as I got off, I called another local agent that dealt with luxury properties, and she's been wanting to back out of the real estate end of it. I've been trying to get her over here to EXP. So I've been waiting to send her the video from Earl because she's very interested in it. So I think it's another great tool.
Awesome. Amazing. Good stuff. Yeah, I never met your daughter, but I've been to her business a few times when I lived there. So very cool. Her old business. That's awesome that she's able to sell it. All right, let's take one more win.
I got a meeting with Earl. I have a fracking site in Texas for $17 million that they're going to take a look at, and maybe we can do something with that. That's
amazing. Very cool. Wow. Earl is going to be busy, it sounds like, after last week's call. That's awesome. Very cool. It'll be fun to see where that stuff, like what comes of that, those kind of leads. It's just like another world. I've never been involved with a $17 million fracking site, and to think that now you have the opportunity maybe to turn a 20% referral on any sale of a business like that is pretty cool. So good stuff. Well, cool. So today we have an interview, not necessarily a top interview, although Matthew Ron is a top attractor here as well. But we're going to be talking about CRM Grow, and it's timely. Matt reached out to me. He's like, hey, we got this new feature coming out called Agent Vending Machine. And that's what really caught my attention when he explained to me what that was. So I think it was well, I'll let him get into it. So, but a couple of reminders real quick before we do. So EXPCon is coming up. This will be the first year doing one in Canada. And we have one, of course, happening in Las Vegas. So Canada's happening early September. So if you have recruits that you might want to get there, or agents in your organization who are in Canada, make sure you're sending out reminders. It's around, I think, like September 7th, but you can check that out on Corporate's website. So check that out. And then the US one will be in early October. So, and those are always an excellent, amazing time. So, all right, without further ado, Matthew, if you want to cover just real quick kind of what you've done as an attractor with EXP since you've been here, and then just kind of dive into whatever you want to share today. We can make it a two-way conversation, or if you've got some screen shares you want to do, however you want to go. I'm excited to hear more about the new features and benefits that you guys have. So yeah, let's dive in.
Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate it, AJ. So I've been with EXP since 2016. I was a fairly early North Carolina adoptee, and I took full advantage of that. I went crazy. So I had a lot of first mover advantage. I'm not going to lie, that didn't hurt. In my first 18 months, I brought over 70 level ones in. So I was actually the fourth person to get 40 wide at EXP. And I had only been in real estate about 18 months. So I wasn't some Instagram influencer. I didn't have any influence You know, I'd ran a team and we did over 70 deals through expired. So I mean, I hustled and I knew how to do deals, but I didn't have any long standing clout in the real estate industry. Alls I did was have like a crazy excitement for EXP. I knew the model inside and out. And I really just naturally knew how to do needs analysis and not talk about what excites me. And I always focused on what excited them. And so I had a really high conversion rate, right? So I went hard for 18 months. And then, you know, one of my weaknesses is I get bored of things, and I I got bored of attracting, and I slowed down, and it's cost me so much money. I try not to think of it. So we're gearing back up again. But what I did was I did a lot of one-on-one coffee appointments and did a ton of lunch and learns and used to fill the room. And you know, it was a really great time. Just that 18 months of pretty heavy work has made me fairly financially free, assuming that my tastes don't get too extravagant. You know, I lead a fairly good life where my expenses are covered. I work from home. I spend all my extra time with my kids, and so EXP created that situation for me. I took advantage of it. And so what I like to tell everybody is you don't have to be some mega super anything to do this. All you need to do is show up every day and do the thing you're going to do, and try not to find a magic bullet, right? Don't overcomplicate it, right? It's about, for me, it was always about timing. Like everybody's going to consider it at some point, and when you're there at the right time, that's who's going to get the person, right? And so the people that dip in and out of attraction, they have a negative experience because it's not an easy thing to do. So showing up every day and just doing it, even if it's like every Friday for 2 hours, you're going to have massive success. But if you're going to hit it like, you know, some people try expireds for 3 months and they're like, oh, expired suck. No, they don't. You just didn't do it long enough, right? You just have to keep doing it. So that's my story. I worked as a W-2. I ran the innovation team at EXP. So I know a lot about the company. And it's been life-changing for me in so many ways. So what happened was I got a little bit bored of attraction, and that's just because I'm a little crazy that way. If something doesn't interest me, I just kind of stop doing it. That doesn't mean it's not valuable. It's super valuable to attract. I just got more back into software because that's where I came from. I came from IBM and the DoD doing software stuff. And so I co-founded CRM Grow, which was the first way to really explain the model. So back in the day, it was a little more Wild West. No one really knew how to explain the model. Everybody just had their own weird presentation, right? And so we made this cohesive video. It was 7 minutes, the first iteration, and we had it okayed by legal and marketing at EXP, right? So this was an unbranded, quick shot. This is the good stuff. And the last iteration, the one we have now, is a little over 9 minutes. It is okayed by legal and marketing again. It's being updated because EXP keeps making these pretty awesome changes. So the new video should be up in about a week or two. But so when you get CRM Grow, you get access to that video that you can push out to people if you want. You could do the Go one, you can make your own. If you're not putting yourself in the story, you're going to have low numbers, right? So you like the people are joining you and EXP, right? So if they don't believe you, if they don't know you, they're if they do join, they're going to be an in and outer, right? They're going to be someone that dips in and dips back out. So you have to somehow, even if you hate being on camera, because trust me, I hate being on camera, but if you want to really connect with them, they have to know who you are and they have to know, like, and trust you. Because who's going to put themselves out of business to go back? Like it's high risk, right? We say it's no big deal, but it's like they're going out of business for a second, and so they need to understand you and trust you. And so that's the main point of CRM Grow. Now, it's not a magic bullet. If you don't use it, it doesn't work, right? If you use it only once every month, it doesn't work. But if you do it consistently, it will work. So I used to use a wealth chart with sticky notes, and I had them all over, and then sticky notes would fall down. And I probably could have 50 more level ones if I wasn't sticky noting it, right, back in the day. So we really came up with a system that allowed you to build a wealth chart or track your people in a more cohesive digital way. And it started out as just a landing page, and then people keep adding features, and now we have this full-fledged CRM. So I'm going to cut over to the platform. I'm just going to show you the highlight reel of why it's worth the cost. And the cost is $49. So it's not like a big burden. You can cancel right from within the platform. Like, we're not trying to keep you if you don't want to stay. We made it super easy to exit if you want. There's no contracts. And it's a CRM. So it does basically everything you'd expect a CRM to do. So I'm not going to get into like the boring CRM stuff. The first feature I want to just show you is what I call the BombBomb feature, right? Which is video tracking. Now it's not BombBomb. We made our own code. But I'm just going to show you that real quick. So when you go to the materials section, right? Think of this as like your YouTube hub or whatever, right? This is where you're going to store all your content, your videos, your PDFs, your images, all your EXP content, or whatever you're trying to do. So here's our 9-minute video. I have many iterations of them. But if you wanted to send this, you would select it and you could send it by email or text. And I just want to show you the video tracking real quick. You'd say something cool and profound to get them to read it. If I actually try to type and talk at the same time, though, my brain shuts down. So we'll send that off. And then it shows up, hopefully, we pray, and it did. And it shows up and it comes in like a little image with a play button. So it's showing people like, play this thing. And when you play it, I'll mute it, but I'm only going to play a few seconds throughout the video. Now, the most important thing to do, you can send tons of content to people, but if you don't know they're consuming it, there's not a ton of value in just sending it out. And so I would say that this is the #1 feature when you're trying to touch somebody at the exact right time. So you have a buddy, John Smith, and he says, yeah, send me the video. I want to know about EXP. You send him this, and then he slides it, right? He just missed that whole chunk of content right there. Because John didn't really want to watch it, but John just doesn't know how to say no to you, right? And so they're doing this, and then they slide it again because they're just not interested. And then they bail out of it. So in CRM Grow, you would have gotten a text immediately that says, hey, John's watching your video. So now you're queued up, you know that someone's watching your stuff. And then if you go to activity, it's going to show you what they watched. Now, where it's blue is what they consumed, where it's gray is what they skipped over. And I can't tell you how important this is, folks. This is good for Expire. This is good for real estate. This is good for every aspect of life. Because if you're a marketing guru and you're saying, hey, buy my super awesome marketing machine, it's going to make you a bajillionaire, and people stop watching right here, it means your stuff's too long, or it means you're boring right here, or you've lost them. So this gives you really good metrics in your content to know, okay, I need to chunk my stuff up more. Like, it's just not working out right now. And then if you go to the actual video, let's pick one that's been watched a few times, and you hit the little metrics, it'll tell you how many times it's been sent out, how many watched, and how many unique contacts have watched it. Now, this UI is kind of gross. It's old school. So this is getting overhauled right now. It's going to very soon be more like a Spotify or more like a YouTube hub, where it's going to be bigger tiles and the metrics are going to be blown out right into it. And the videos are going to move around depending on how popular they are, right? So it's going to kind of like naturally float to the top, your good stuff, and your bad stuff will be at the bottom. And then you can make visual decisions based on what's going on. And we added folders because, some EXP people got their foot in about 17 ponds. And so if you needed to organize your content, you could do that as well, right? And you could run many businesses out of this. So that's the #1 material. BombBomb's $49. Our whole system is $49. I like to open with that just to say, if nothing else, right, just this feature makes the price worth it. And then 2 years ago, I set out to come up with some system. Nothing against alphas, because I know there's some alphas in here. You guys earned everything you got. But the attraction game, if you want to do it at scale, there's a cost to it, right? And if you want to run big, you have to get systems in place. And not everybody can either afford it or know the way to do it. And so 2 years ago, I was like, I want to come up with a system that someone can join EXP and have at bats every day, no matter what status they are, whether they're making enough rev share to buy systems or whether they're just starting out and they're kind of broke, right? And so what I did was we came up with the agent vending machine. And to do this, I knew I needed a data company. And so what I did was I set out to get acquired by a data company. And it took me a year, but we were acquired the last day of last year. I can't say who it is yet, but a lot of people know just by happenstance and stuff. But it's a company that's been in real estate for 20 years. They're not a brokerage. They're a data company. And so this is what Agent Vending Machine does. And it turned on 2 days ago. So this is like brand new. So if you have a pro level account at $49, you can go into Lead Hub, go to Agent Leads. And then we have this, we create filters. And you say, like, I'm in North Carolina. So personally, I don't want to grow in North Carolina anymore. 90% of my group's there. So let's say I wanted to grow in Florida. And let's just say I'm crazy and I want to go for low producers because I want to spend all my life training them. So I can pick low production. So we chunked it up because these are 3 different conversations to have with people. Like once you get them excited about EXP, the production conversation, these are 3 different. And maybe you have a strategy where you're like, I'm only bringing over the high producers. I'm only bringing over low, whatever. If you have a super awesome coaching company, maybe you're targeting low producers. You're going to exclude your brokerage, right? So you're going to want to exclude EXP. And then mine's set up for more, but if you're on the pro, you're going to get 2. You can pick both agents each day to come from Florida, or if you wanted to have 2 states, you'd pick one, you'd save that, and then you'd create your secondary, and let's just say, I don't know, Minnesota. I'd exclude EXP. And then every night about midnight is when we pull the data. It's constantly refreshed. So you shouldn't bump into an EXP agent. That doesn't mean you won't, because like if somebody didn't update their records, right, it's going to happen from time to time. So you're going to get 1 Florida agent and 1 Minnesota agent each day, Monday through Friday on the pro account. Now, what that means is you're going to get 480 agents in a year. What that means is even if you're like really super bad at this, right? Like you just set up automations and you don't actually interact at any level, you could probably close 1%, right? So you're looking at 3 to 5 level 1 agents per year just on 2 agents coming in per day. Okay. So that's kind of a big deal. If you're on the elite account, you're going to get 5 a day, which is 1,200 agents over the year, right? Which is a significant amount of level 1s. Now, I'm not saying make this your attraction plan. I'm saying just add it to it. This should be an extra layer. Still do all the things you're doing. And how hard is it to actually just, so you go into your contacts, I preset a filter that, and these are the people that have been pulled in when I had mine active. Now I'm not trying to attract anybody because I'm trying to stay neutral right now. But so the people will come in, they're going to be tagged AVM. And I would suggest a soft approach on these folks if they are cold leads. Don't punch them in the mouth with EXP. But that's just my philosophy. I would get with people that you know, like, and trust, come up with a strategy to warm them up. But this is just going to give you at-bats every day. The call to action is this. August 18th is the last day a pro account can get them, because this is going to be a premium feature. So as long as you sign up for a pro account before end of day on the 18th, you will get your 2 agents a day for as long as the program exists. If you come to me on the 19th, you have to have elite, right? Now, if you're a pro and then want more, you could just upgrade to elite. So the call to action is if you want to test this out, and it's a 2-week free trial, you could literally test this out for free, right? And spend 0 money, right? And just play around with it. I wouldn't expect a conversion in 2 weeks. So try not to assess the program on your outcome in 2 weeks. It's like expired, right? It's a game you're going to get better at. So this is version 1 of this. Version 2, I just want to share with you what's going to happen since we own a data company. In the filter very, very soon, it's going to get really kind of intense. You're going to be able to pick all the stuff you would normally expect. You're going to also be able to pick the brokerage you want them from. But you're also going to be able to get this really cool metadata. Like, I only want to talk to agents that have just recently divorced. Or I only want to talk to agents that have just moved states. Or I want to just talk to agents that have just had a 50% reduction or increase in production. Because my theory is that people in stress and crisis are more open to opportunity because they're trying to redefine themselves, right? Now, I could be wrong, but I hope I'm not. So you're going to start seeing like these extra options. You're going to be able to choose what kind of agent and where they are in life, right? And this is going to bring on a whole new layer of attraction that really isn't offered anywhere, where you're going to be able to pull people in, but then really niche down into like what you think you're the best at and pull them in. Now, the reason I think this is going to be a big deal is because right now you can get systems that pull from your MLS, but they geographically lock you into that area. Or you could get broker metrics, but that's a huge barrier to entry to even get them to pick up the phone for you, to get the account, and then get the multiple MLSs is a lot of money. This is us pulling all the data that exists anyway out there. It's public domain, but we have a data company, and so we figured out how to just sort it all, organize it, and update it as records change. So this system's going to get better and better. This is just V1. All right.
That's
And
really cool.
yeah.
Real quick, I was just going to say, could you click on one of their contacts and just bring that up real quick, just to see what it looks like for the agent?
Yeah, and I've never clicked one, so this is first.
This is all new stuff.
This is brand new.
Yeah. So cool. So there's their company, their area, their phone number. And you guys can see at the top, if you look at the top, we have activity, notes, emails, texts. So you can see like the history between you and that lead. Cool. Yeah, I just want to see what that looks like from a usability standpoint.
1 in 5 contacts is going to have an email. We scrap emails. Very sensitive. Most of them are wrong, and so we have like a high threshold to put it in there. But honestly, with the texting feature, right, and the automations, or you call them, the phone number is the primary source anyway, right? As we get better at this, we're going to get more and more emails, but I wanted to launch it now rather than wait for the email to be perfected. The other cool feature that we haven't launched yet that's coming soon is, you know how we track videos? Well, if you take a link and put it on Facebook and someone watches it, it's going to be like someone's watching your video. But if they're not in the CRM, we have no way of saying who's watching your video. So it's cool information, but it's not super useful. So right now, with about 70% accuracy, we have this stealth little piece of code we're working on, where we're going to be able to launch a stealth link where when they watch it, with about 70% accuracy, we're going to be able to tell you who it was, even if they're not in your database. All right. And so I'm hoping Q4 that launches. And when that does, that's going to give you tons of insight on who's creeping on your socials, who's watching your content, right? You're just going to give you a bunch of cool insight. All right. Another thing we do, we have a scheduler. It's not a huge deal. I just got tired of paying Calendly. So I told my dev team, make our own. And I'll just show you that it's a one-to-one match on most calendar solutions, right? So you pick, what kind of group, we have a Zoom integration. So when you pick Zoom, it creates the Zoom link. You pick your dates and ranges, and then you can set an automation. So you can make it so you can make it so 30 minutes before the event starts, your automation maybe texts them and reminds them about the meeting. So this is all in-house. It's our own code. So you can add your own automations and your own tags to it. So you can actually set up a 30-minute, well, this one says solar consultation. I don't sell solar, but I demo it to solar people. So this could be like a 30-minute attraction consultation. It could be a 60-minute buyer consultation. You make your own little schedule links, and then when you send it to them and they book, it's going to tag them up the proper way. And maybe if you're dealing with a buyer, first-time home buyer, maybe you want them to have an automation that starts going over the copious amounts of information they're going to have to absorb, like lending stuff, right? And inspections. And so you could have this automation all set up. So when they book to you, they're going to automatically start getting communication about the stuff that they're going to be interested in. And so that's the whole point of that. I put in smart codes because I love the KB Core version and the conversion version of it. So essentially, you can create a smart code because you all get to text. So you're going to have your own Twilio number. And a smart code essentially is you're going to say what you want them to text your number, and then you're going to tell it what you want it to reply to them. Now, the best use of this for people that own larger organizations is to start taking your 20 most commonly asked questions and have them be text codes. Like, AJ, where do I get the ICA? I bet you've probably been asked that 5 billion times. Or, where's the policy procedures? Where's the revenue share chart? So you can have a text code say ICA, and then if anybody just asks you that question, just say text ICA to this number, right? And you can make it so you can almost have a helpline for your organization to access information. Or this could be like you're at church or the grocery store and somebody at KW finally asks you how is it going at EXP, and you could just say text EXP to this number, and it'll show you kind of like my highlight reels. When somebody does this, they're opting in. Okay, it means you get to communicate with them because they reached out to you. It captures their phone number, and then you go update it, put their name in. So this is a super slick way to capture information. Another good use of this would be you're doing a lunch and learn, you're presenting, you fed everybody, and you say, do you want my list of top 10 ways to be awesome at this thing? And everybody will be like, yeah, I want to be awesome at that thing. And you just say, text awesome to my number. You just captured the whole room, most of the room, because most people will do a text code. Or open house sign-ins, scrap the sign-in sheet, right? Just have them text whatever you put there to get info on the house. And then they're going to get the house info digitally. You're going to lead capture them, and you have your sign-in, right? So we can stop telling people it's for your safety, right? You can just digitally capture them, pull them in. So there's a million uses for this. With SMS texting, the government and the phone carriers are getting crazier and crazier for the good, because we all get spammed constantly. So your first number is free, right? You pick your area code, but then there's this Twilio setup, and at the end of August, there's a new level of authority coming down on texting. So when you go to set up Twilio, it's going to pull in a questionnaire, and this is an API direct from Twilio. You're going to fill it out, and what this is going to do is it's going to register this number as an authentic user, and it knows who's using it. And then you can go a step further and give them campaigns, which is, hey, what kind of texts are you going to be sending, right? So you can get 5 to 10. So if you're going to attract at a high level, you're going to want to do this. If you want to do anything at a high level, you want to fill this out. It's a $20 one-time fee, and then it's $2 extra per month. We're going to eat the monthly on this. And then, so if you want to upgrade your number, if you want more text to land, then you're going to want to do this piece here. It's going to eventually be mandatory, but one thing I'll tell you is everybody always tells me I just use this app to text all my people. I can text 1 billion people at a time, and what's happening is they're sending them, but most of them aren't delivering, because Verizon and AT&T, they have their own threshold, and they say once I see the same text 20 times in a row, the rest are going into the garbage, and they're not going to tell you, and they have no legal obligation to tell you. And so if you think you're texting 5,000 people, I promise you, if you were to audit that and poll them, you would find that most of them aren't getting the texts, because that number needs to be registered, and you need to have a campaign on file, because the carrier wants to know, what are you texting, and they want to make sure you're not spamming. And so this is the way around all that, and this is the way to deliver at a high level your texts. All right, and if anybody has any questions, you can kind of like interrupt me if you need to.
Yeah, if you guys have a question, just put your hand up or type it in the chat. We did have one question. Evan asked, is there a way to also message them through social media?
So it's funny you asked that. So until AJ brought up his objection yesterday, that was going to be soon. But there's a bigger issue we need to solve for, which is the two-way inbox. So we have something called omni-channel that we're developing out. So this is probably going to be Q4 now. It was going to be Q3. Omni-channel is going to be essentially when you go into your communication center right now, this is just texting, right? Well, eventually this is going to look a lot better. And if somebody Instagram messages you or hits you on TikTok or hits you on whatever, LinkedIn, there's gonna be an icon to let you know. And so like this was my developer just testing the phone. Now, if he would have, once Omnichannel is live, if this would have came in through LinkedIn, when I went to reply, it would reply via LinkedIn. So it's gonna allow all the channels to come in, and then it's gonna respond to them in the same format, because you need to meet people where they are, right? You don't want to force someone to change channels. The coolest thing is, I believe we're going to be able to get both Android and iPhone to hang out in the same window, right? So that is coming. It's just going to be a little longer now, because the two-way inbox is our most critical thing. And when we say two-way, what's happening is, I'll just show you it real quick. When you email, we do outbound. We have permission from Google. You give us permission. And so when you hit send, it's actually sending through your Gmail, which is really great because it's high deliverability, as long as you haven't spammed your stuff up. When they respond, we don't log it. And AJ was like, well, that has to log. And I was like, okay. And so we met, we moved the organization around a bit, and we're going to make it so it's two-way, right? So when they respond in about 30 days, it's going to be a coherent, it's going to be as if you're in your Gmail, right? It wasn't super important when we were just like attracting, and we just had 1,500 customers, but we're about to scale out big, both in attraction and real estate, and it's like it's a must-have, and so we're just going to make that happen. One thing, we have pipelines. And you guys probably heard of Pipedrive, maybe you've used Pipedrive. It's a way to visually see the same thing as this. When you look at this contact list, this is giving you information, and for some people this is overwhelming, right? But there's tags and labels, right? And they're shared, and there's information. This is kind of telling you the same thing, just in a more visual way. And some people respond better to this. And so what one of these tiles is we call them a deal. And it could be one or many people. So it could be, a domestic team, it could be a brokerage, it could be one person. And so you move your contact in, and each stage, I would argue, people should be treated differently and uniquely depending on what stage they're in, right? Like a cold prospect doesn't know you exist. So the urgency to respond, to like initiate with a cold prospect, isn't super high. But if somebody inbounded you with an email or a text, that's a critical, right? You need to get back to them right away. And so we've made it so you could attach timers to each of these stages. And the red just means they've expired. Green means they're good. And when they're in between, they turn a yellowish color, right? And you could either have timers on it or not. Like if you come over here, it strips the timer off because there's no timer here. And so each stage could have its own urgency timer. And so every morning you could log in, you could just be like, okay, what's yellow? Like, what am I not paying attention to that I need to pay attention to? And you can also assign an automation to all of these, right? And an automation is a drip campaign or a smart campaign. It's our system doing something on your behalf while you're sleeping or doing other stuff. So imagine that this person was like gonna go to a lunch and learn. And my automation was a special automation just describing the lunch and learn or something, right? So they're gonna be put on that automatically, right? They're gonna get tagged the way I want them to be tagged, and they're gonna be taken care of because I'm gonna have set the rules of this stage. You can use it or not use it, it doesn't really matter. But if you have a large organization, it's even more important. If you don't love on your people, they tend to float away, right? And so what you can do, and once you have about 100 people, it starts to become harder and harder to really interact with them all. At first you're like, I'm the best at this, everybody knows me, everybody loves me. But then like you get to the 400 or 500 range, 1,000 range, it becomes unmanageable to really be there for everybody. So what you could do is set yourself up an assistant, have an organization board, and have different touch points, right? Like, you know, call them when it's their anniversary, call them when they icon, right? You can have all these things set up so you can actually love on your people, or you can have an onboarding board as well. I'll let you know a secret. EXP is never going to figure out onboarding, nor is anybody else. It's too complicated. It's too crazy. There's too much going on. And so if you lose somebody during onboarding, it's both EXP's fault, the person's fault, and your fault. And if you know when they're hung up and you go into EXP world and go to the proper department and you use a little kindness, most of the time they'll solve the problem right there. If you go in all puffed up and angry, they're probably not going to solve your problem right away, right? So it's good to know where the critical points are in the onboarding process and have your people there and know when they've been there, even if it's a day too long, you need to start taking action, right? If there's a problem with the ICA signature, the day after they should have moved, you need to be in the XP world advocating for them. And if you're nice, they'll help you. Hey, Tom, what's up?
Hey, real quick, can I set an individual timer for each person in the pipeline? Because I'm on my pipeline right now and it's showing that I can't do that for each person. It's only for the deals. Or can I?
So the timer is for the stage. So anybody in the stage adopts this timer.
Okay,
Now, if there's a real need, a use case, we could add a deal specific timer. But as of right now, it's stage specific.
okay.
Yep.
All right, thank you.
Yep, no problem. So anyway, that's enough about pipelines. It's just a cool tool. You can have many of them, right? So if you have two different businesses, you can have different pipelines. And, you know, what else do I want to cover here?
I'm gonna read a couple of questions here in the chat.
Yeah.
So to answer you, Matt Greco, it's simply a cold agent that you're prospecting. It's not somebody that opted in to hear about EXP. Will there be automated invites to connect messaging through omni-channel?
You know, I can't even answer that honestly because it's not built. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I hope so, but I would be giving you guessing, guessed answers.
So to be determined on that.
Yeah.
You speak to this one for a second, Matthew. So Kathy asked, and I'll comment on it first. Will you be creating your own automations or do you have them pre-done? So one of the things, and I'll have a link here at the end, if you guys sign up through me, there's a Game Changers community. So the reason why I reached out to Matt a while ago is because I saw the community option, and it essentially allows us to have a Game Changers Nation community that has preset automations, preset drip campaigns, and some other features I'll have Matt go into that's specific to Game Changers. So it's a value add to UCRM Grow because of that. And then the second one being agent vending machine. So talk a little bit more about community and why that is important, Matt.
Yeah, so community was something we set up right at the start, right? Because duplication is the key to wealth. If you go out and get 100 level ones, that's amazing. But what you really want is you want all your people to get one or two people, right? And so that's the duplication part. That's the part I was bad at, honestly. I could go get tons of level ones, but I, at a high level, fail at teaching people how to do what I do, right? I'm just not good at it. And so the community is supposed to help you resolve that problem, right? So all realtors want stuff pre-done, or they want help, or some kind of combination of that. And so what AJ said was he has some community name that he's in charge of. And so he can have his own set of materials, automations, templates, and pipeline pre-made. And then when you join CRM Grow, you can request to join his team, and then he has to say yes. Or he can request you to join and you have to say yes. So it's a handshake. Both parties have to accept. So you can't just get blind invited like workplace into like nonsense. So you get into the group, and then anywhere like materials, you see there's a library section. This is where they would show up. In automations, there's a library section. So anytime you see the library, that's where your community content's going to be. And then you can pull over the parts you want. Now, I'll tell you, this is about to get more robust. Very soon, websites are going to be shareable. And pretty soon AI prompts are going to be shareable. And I can show you that. It's on staging. We're about to go live with it. But so if AJ had some like sick prompts that were really like tuning the AI up to be really great at attracting, or maybe there's a KW AI, right? Broker specific AIs that know everything about the brokerages so they can respond at a super high level. Like the users are going to be able to make all those, and then you're going to be able to invoke that prompt. You won't see what the prompt is, but you'll be able to use it, right? So you know, everybody can have their own secret sauce, share it. The recipe's not going to be there, but you're going to be able to use it, right? And so once those go in, this is going to be even more robust. So when you share an automation, there's a lot going on because it's going to share the whole thing. It's going to share all the materials tied to it, all the tokens or variables tied to it. You know, anything that's tied to the automation is going to deploy in a container and be used by the other people. So if somebody does this right, you have a truly plug and play system where you can just run with it and not have to do your own stuff. Darren, what's up?
Yeah, I have a question about under the contacts screen. When you're under contacts, one of the things that I do, I use Market View Broker, and I pull in volume, I pull in percent volume change and
Yep.
all that data. Currently, I'm not seeing where there's a way that we can sort our contact list by custom fields or different columns.
So you're going to go to Contact Manager. You're going to go to Custom Contact Fields, and you're going to create whatever you want.
Yep, I've already done that. But
And
when I go in, yeah, go
okay,
ahead.
go ahead. No, you
Well,
go.
but when I'm in the contact, when I'm in this field right here, if I want to go up and search, let's say by stages or email, I want to hit
Got
email
you.
address. I can't sort that. I can't sort that column by that screen.
Have you gone to Edit Column and added them?
Yes. But when you go up to
Oh,
sort
I
by,
got you. I
you
got
see
you.
where you say sort by, it
Yeah,
only
yeah,
allows
yeah.
you to do alphabetical. That's it.
All
It'd
right.
be nice
So
if we could sort the data by columns and custom fields.
yeah, that could be done. That's just a feature that we never thought of.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah, we can do that because we have all the data. That's not even a hard thing to do. It's just there's always a billion things to do. So I appreciate that.
Right. Yeah, awesome.
All right, what else? All right, so the calendar also, hold on. I'm also here with my 4-year-old. She rolled in yelling. All right. So with the community, they come in hot sometimes. That's the main feature, right? So eventually what we're going to do is, so for AJ's community, we're going to make it so when you join through his link, you're going to auto go to the community, right? There's going to be a special link. So you won't even have to go through the handshake stuff. Right now, that's not in play, but that's where this is headed. Right now, we also have an assistant. So if you have a VA or an ISA, you don't have to share your login credentials. You put their name, their email, their password, and now we've essentially created a secondary account for free that they can log in and take action, right? And then if you need to like fire your VA, you just delete them or turn them off, and none of your data was corrupted. They never knew your password, and you can have multiple assistants.
Can this with the integrations allow for, like, let's say I'm doing lead capture through like Kajabi or ClickFunnels, whatever. Can those leads automatically be added to CRM Grow through like Zapier or something?
Yeah, so we have a 100% full Zapier integration at this point. So basically anything can happen. We just don't have native integrations with any of those folks yet. That's kind of 2024 is to try to get those native integrations. But yeah, so anything that uses Zapier will work and bring stuff in.
Cool.
I wanted to show real quick one thing on automations because I think we have a little more time still. Automations is kind of where the magic happens. It's the feature that most people don't use good enough. And this is the system doing stuff for you. So let's say we're talking agent vending machine. You got agents coming in and you want to send them an email first. And you're going to say something profound. And let's just say you're going to add some material. I'm not saying hit them up front with this video. I'm just saying you're going to send them something about something. And then you're going to want to know if they watched it. So you're going to hit the plus sign. You're going to do a review check. And this is going to invoke our monitoring system. And maybe you only want to know if they've watched at least 75% of the video. Right? And then if they don't watch it, maybe in 3 days we want to send them a text. So we don't want to let them off the hook. And we're like, hey, right, here's that video we talked about. You said you wanted to see it or whatever. And then you review check it again, because we're not going to let them off the hook, because we're going to lightly keep on them. And then if they don't watch it again, my suggestion is some long-term automation you've created, some yearly, once a month kind of value add. Or you could set a task for yourself here, right? To call them in 3 days. And so this quick automation, we've emailed them a video, 3 days go by, they don't watch at least 75%, we text them. 3 more days go by, they didn't watch at least 75% or whatever. We now, a task shows up now to call them. We've looped it up. Where most people will try one time, this automatically is gonna give you 3 passes at somebody, which is gonna greatly increase at least your chances of communicating with them. And then I want to show you something that we call the choose your own adventure thing. And it's a little more complicated, but I just want to walk you through it. And this is about talking about what's exciting to them. As humans, we have a hard time not talking about what excites us. We all do it. Some of us are better at it than others. Let's say we're sending them the EXP video, and we all want nothing more than everybody to join us. And we review check it, right? And let's say they watched it. They watched it, we're excited, but we want to take the human error out of it. So at the end of the video, we have something in our system where you can create forms, and you can pop them up whenever you want in the video. You could pop up multiple forms so you can check for understanding. I already made one. And so what you do is you call in this contact condition. And I made one called most liked about EXP. And what you do, this is just my opinion of what's exciting about EXP. Now, obviously, this keeps growing as I keep adding stuff. Now, don't let it freak you out. This is just a decision point. They've just watched the video. A box pops up and it says, what did you love most? And they can only pick one. You just want to know what they're most excited about. And if they pick rev share, which some of them are going to pick, either you or AJ's community is already going to have created, let's just pretend this says rev share. You're going to already have created a rev share automation. And so each of these endpoints is going to have an automation specific to the choice. And when they make their choice, every branch shuts down except for what they chose. And so not only did they watch the video, they've indicated what's most exciting to them. It stores it in their contact, and without skipping a beat, you're now just driving down their interest point. Whereas if you were having a human conversation, they're going to cue you off to what's exciting to them, but you might not pick up on it, right? And you might screw up and talk about stock when they don't care. So just think about this. You're given the opportunity to show content, let them choose what they love, and then based on that decision, automatically deploy what they love at them, right? This is going to increase conversion rates at everything you're doing, actually, because you're going to no longer accidentally try to convince them to be excited about what you're excited about. You're going to convince them, you're going to be in their excitement realm. There's a million other things happening. I would say the biggest thing is that very soon you're going to be able to pull in expireds and FSBOs and FURBOs and geo leads, right? So you're going to be able to like legitimately run real estate through this. You can already, but there's going to be a seamless, it's going to be a lot. And then in 2024, if I have my way, there'll be an IDX in here as well. Obviously it won't be $49 a month, but it also won't be the cost that you're seeing most of these big guys run IDXs with. So at some point in the near future, if you so chose, you could operate your full-on business through this.
Matt, Kathy asks, do you have training on this specific feature?
We have videos on it. I overstaffed my support on purpose. So whenever you're in trouble or whenever you need extra help, you email support and say, can I get on a Zoom? And can someone show me how to do this? And same day, we've always been able to get to everybody. We don't have a phone number. I'm trying to get to the point where we're getting together and screen sharing, because so much confusion happens over the phone with tech. I want it to be like video screen share. And so there's going to be more training coming up on this, but I'll also say, if you can gather people together, I'll show up and train them myself. I mean, I would love it if most of my day was just meeting with people, showing them how to use the product, because then they'll be excited and use it more. So you can always reach out to me as well. I try not to do one-on-ones because it's like, it'll bury me quick, but group trainings I'm always open to that.
And they have a knowledge base too, that you just search like your question and tons of articles or videos come up on how to do things.
Yeah.
And then the ask a question feature is really good. I used it and got my questions answered pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this is all of our automation articles now. So you're not going to see that specific piece in there, because it's like some of my support people don't even know that's in there, to be honest. But we'll add one, and I don't mind. We can build some. Another thing I don't mind doing is masterminding. Like if a group wants to get together and spend an hour or two building content, I can hang out too and give advice and show you what would work, what didn't work. I would rather help people build their own authentic content than CRM Grow just create content. Because if I create it, it's going to be in my voice, and not everybody likes my voice.
The dialer is $19 in addition to the cost, correct?
Yeah, so we have a baseline dialer, or you can upgrade the dialer to do campaign dialing, right? We in the automations though, you can also do like, I'm not a huge fan of them, but you can do ringless voicemail drops. You record them right here. You could drop it right in. Like if someone picked this one, it would kick a voicemail right to them. That's all dialer related. Yeah, so the dialer's there and useful.
Is there a free click to dial included?
Not yet. We're working on it. Because
So
this
for
company
$19.
the company that acquired us also has a robust dialing company, and so we're working with them to come up with some kind of solution for that.
Cool. When you guys do launch like more of the real estate related features, do you plan to have those as like separate sides of the CRM?
So what you're going to see is, when you're using that piece, it's no longer going to be called CRM Grow. It's going to be called something else. It's going to look exactly the same, but they want it to be in their brand, which is fine. CRM Grow is still going to be standalone. So if you had CRM Grow and you're like, I want to do expireds, basically your logo is going to change. There's going to be a marketplace, and you're going to pick what you want to drop in, like whether you want to do expireds. And it's going to be like Instacart. You know how you buy more and more stuff, and it tells you like you're $3 away from a discount, right? So there's going to be bulk discounts and stuff like that. All of it's no contract, so you can turn on expireds when expireds are hot, and then turn them off when they, there's seasons to expireds. So you can drop them, pick them up, do all that good stuff. The biggest piece is going to be the geo leads, and I think I have them convinced to give CRM Grow users free geo leads, not unlimited, but and I think I'm going to get it where a pro user is going to get 50 polls per month, and elite's going to get like 150. So if you had an open house or a just listed, just sold, right, you'd be able to like just at least use CRM Grow to pull it, because we're doing an integration with thanks.io. So in your automations, you're going to be able to send handwritten notes and letters and gift cards as well. That's about 30 days off until that's in. The geo leads will go hand in hand with that. So you could prospect, hit the neighborhood, right, for your open house or whatever you want to do. The mailbox is becoming more and more of a good feature because people are getting exhausted from digital. And that's why we're doing a full integration. and it'll be cheap sends because we're doing it all under one master account. So we can have like super competitive prices on sending.
Cool.
Matt, do you have time to touch real quickly on the templates and the custom pages and like funnel?
So templates are going to be for real quick. Just this is your like going to be emails and texts, right? Like emails and texts you're sending out a lot. You're going to make a template for them. Like so, if this was going to be an email temp, what's
Yeah,
that?
sorry, Matt. I think I misspoke. You guys have something where you can do a custom like landing page that captures their.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
So this is our feature now, and it's good and it works. I'm not happy with it. So this is getting massively overhauled as well. This got pushed to Q4 because of the inbox thing as well. But you can come in, create a landing page. I'm not going to build one live because like this stuff, I'm not good at it. I'll be honest. But I'll at least show you how it starts. So you name your page, something, right? And there's this editor, right, where you pull in elements, you make different sections, you can pull them in. A lot of you guys have done Wix and all these other, so it's like that, right? You have to get used to it, but it can build a robust site. They're adding pop-ups very soon. We're adding pop-ups very soon to it as well for different calls to action. The cool thing about this is when you add a video into it, it actually tracks it, right? So like if someone's in your CRM and they go to your landing page and watch the video, it's gonna like track them and do all that. And then if like down here I ask for an email, it's gonna lead capture them and create a contact. So this is all wonky because I'm terrible at it, right? I don't have the patience to go fix that. But you can make these really robust, nice looking landing pages. And a funnel is just pages linked to pages, right? And asking for forms and escalating through some ascension model for them to go do what you want them to do. So you can make a series of these that connect, right? And then you've got your funnel. Like I'm not saying we can't compete against the big funnel people, but you can make the same funnels here, right?
This is great. I never even knew about this feature until this morning. I was on another call, but it's
yeah,
think
I just haven't pushed it because I didn't like the way it's white labeled, and I didn't love the builder at first. It's getting better, but we found a much better solution. And so and when we change to it, we'll pull all your stuff over and you won't really know what happened. But it's going to be a more robust, where you have more control over SEO and all that good stuff.
thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Cool, guys. We're up on the hour. So if you want to join, there's a link in the chat. Check it out. And yeah, if you've already joined, just shoot me an email and we'll figure out how to get you guys added to the community. This is just really a brand new thing that we're doing based on the agent vending machine. I think that's really cool. That's why I always loved using like a Red X or Vulcan 7 when I was like doing expired prospecting, because it reduced the friction when it came to prospecting. You know, new agents are always like, well, it's free if I just go on the MLS and find the expireds and find their phone numbers myself. It's like, yeah, it is, but it will take forever, which means you're not going to do it consistently, and they don't. And when I saw this, that's kind of what it brought me back to, was like, oh, that's a pretty cool way to frictionless have some data that you can just load up in a power dialer, automatic dialer, and start reaching out to people, having conversations. So I think that feature makes CRM grow very unique. And when it comes to CRM systems, I haven't seen that with any others. I don't think there are any others. I know there's not any others that have an agent vending machine right now, based on what I've seen. So there's that, and we'll definitely have to do another one of these, Matt. Thanks for sharing everything. Really good stuff, and look forward to seeing you guys next Thursday.
Thanks a lot. Later, guys.
Yeah.